Hello and welcome to the Retrocast once again, and for the second week of April we're going to be playing another Turtles game, but of course it's not just me here, it's also my co-host Robin Parker.
Hey dudes.
So as you can see, hey dudes, it's another cowabunga week as we play Turtles in Time on the Super Nintendo, a port of the arcade game of the same name. This game was also known as Turtles 4 because there were 3 Turtles games on the Nintendo Entertainment System. This one was released in 1992. It's another Konami developed game as well, and it's a follow up to the classic Turtles arcade game as well.
Yeah, I mean a lot of the sprites are very similar, just a bit tweaked, but more or less reused from the arcade game. It's a really good arcade quality conversion on the SNES. I mean, that's the SNES got famous for getting all these Konami arcade ports down really well.
Yeah, and the graphics are so colourful on this as well. There's actually an option in the option screen of the game that lets you choose between what colour you want your turtles. You can have them looking all the same colour like the cartoon, or you can have them all different colours like the comic, like as in like different shades of green, which is weird.
Oh yeah, I do remember that now. I've completely forgotten now, but it rings a bell now.
Yeah. So as you can see, I've just thrown a foot soldier into the screen. That's definitely something that we hadn't seen in previous versions. That's
the SNES's Mode 7 graphics for you.
It is, yeah. They've got to make the most of that. This was quite an early SNES game, I think, as well. So it's very good looking. Still looks good today, I think.
Oh yeah, as you say, it's nice, bright, bold sprites. So it's aged really well, definitely. And they obviously, like you say, it's an fairly early SNES game, so they obviously wanted to show off the capabilities of the system, what it could do, that when the first Turtles arcade game came out, it couldn't be done.
Definitely. I love the soundtrack to this as well. It's a very jolly. It sounds like it could be from the Ninja Turtles cartoon as well, which is quite an achievement, I think.
Yes, I can remember. I mean, the first second I heard this song, brought back a lot of memories. All the different pieces of music in the game are really sort of memorable and catchy little tunes. And as you say, it definitely sound very true to the cartoon.
Yeah, and then of course you've got the little sound bites from the Turtles themselves of yourself, and from a simple cowabunga to the pizza time whenever you collect an item.
Nice bit of digitized voice.
Yes. For some reason, the blue foot soldier seems to have some sort of tuning fork. I'm assuming that's some sort of censorship. Maybe he had some size before.
Yeah, of course. But just when the British all the different boards got a bit annoyed with size and nunchucks.
Yeah, well, this is the American version, which makes it even more puzzling.
Well, I don't know. Well, look, I mean, Krang has another tuning fork on his head there. Maybe it's something to do with that.
Maybe so. A giant Krang suit just trying to kill you there.
But that was a nice thing about the game. You've got all the different coloured foot soldiers, all who have different abilities and different weapons. It just adds a bit of variety to it. You're not just fighting the same old foot soldiers over and over again.
No, I mean, pretty much most of the game is fighting foot soldiers, apart from a few bosses and a few other select enemies. But there's enough variety between the different types of them to, as I say, to keep things fresh. They've all got different ways to defeat them the best way. And some enemies you don't want to get too close to, but others you can just get in close and chuck them into the screen. Now, we've got Baxter Stockman in his fly form.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, the game's probably best played in its multiplayer, its 2-player mode. But I mean, a lot of arcade games are, but still, even as a single-player game, there's a lot of fun to be had here.
Of course, unfortunately, it's not the 4-player game that the arcade machine was, but this was before multi-taps on the SNES, so we can forgive them for that. As you say, even 2 players is still a total riot.
Yeah, it's a shame they didn't release a second one on the SNES once the multi-tap was available, but that didn't come along for a little bit after this game anyway.
Yeah, of course. Just going to get the final blow on Baxter.
Because I mean, this level, if you think about it from start to finish, the level's fairly short, really. There's not a lot to do. I mean, it must be said that, especially when we look back at last week's game we were looking at, the NES version of Turtles, this is a very easy game in comparison.
Yeah, it is. It's just a typical scrolling beat 'em up, which it can be quite tricky if you're not well versed in it. If you get mobbed by enemies, it can get a bit tough, especially when you've got enemies that throw things at you from afar. But it's mainly the bosses that give you the most grief in this game, I find.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think there's some of the rat catcher robots which can be a bit troublesome as well, which we might run into later. But and in single player, it's a bit trickier. But in a 2-player mode, you can find yourself sort of zipping through the entire game in maybe an hour or so. Yeah.
It's worth mentioning that the game's called Turtles in Time, and we're kind of still in modern day Manhattan. There's a reason for that. But we're just going to get to the end of the second level, just so you can see the next boss, which is Metalhead.
Robotic turtle.
Yeah. I do like the little, that they have a little dialogue before they attack you.
Yeah, you get to say their little cheesy catchphrase one-liners. Because of course there was a lot of banter and one-liners in the cartoon, so it sort of keeps it a bit more true to the cartoon.
Yeah, and this game does have a lot of character, which is always good for a game based on a cartoon.
Yeah, I mean, you see when Metalhead's doing his punches and kicks, his legs and arms actually extend on hydraulics. So there's a lot of detail in the sprites as well.
Yeah, it adds a lot. And I like how when you're about to defeat an enemy, they've changed in some way. For instance, as you can see, Metalhead's smoking at the moment. He's flashing yellow to indicate he's nearly dead.
Smoking's bad for his health anyway.
It certainly is. Got to watch out for that little manhole, or the coverless manhole. As you fall down that, you will hurt yourself.
Yeah, and get a little amusing caption come up as well.
Yeah, so who turned out the lights? I think it says. Cowabunga indeed. So now this is almost like a little bonus game where you have to kind of surf it through a level, collecting items and killing enemies. Yeah,
it's a bit of a chance to rack up. I think there's quite a few extra lives and health boxes scattered throughout this level.
That's right.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Bit of a chance to it. If you have been struggling, which you probably haven't so far, only on the first 2 levels, it gives you a chance to get back some of your lives you might have lost.
Certainly. I love the track to this level. It's probably one of my favourite tracks on the SNES actually. So nice and catchy, I think.
Yeah, and of course the use of hoverboards is all pretty awesome as well.
Yeah, true.
It's called sewer surfing, but they do seem to be hovering.
Yeah, go watch out for those spiky poles because they will cause you a bit of damage. So we're just moving on past that, and we're just in the 3rd level. We're about to take the battle to the foot soldiers.
Yeah, so as you say, you're still in modern day, still in the present day. You haven't gone no time travel yet, but you're making your way towards Shredder to try and defeat him, and we'll soon find out the next development in the story.
Of course, we're not exactly expecting an epic story here, but it's as an arcade brawler, it doesn't need one.
It just needs I think the whole point of the story really is a way to loosely link together several historical time periods.
Yeah, and it is very loose. Horrible annoying little mousers, which are easy to deal with in small batches, but as you can see, once you get a group of them on you, it's very difficult to shake them off.
Biting you up, literally shaking them off your arm.
Yeah.
As you say, it's so bright and colourful with the little explosions when you destroy the mousers and everything. It's just.
And of course, here you've got Tokka and Razor from the second Turtles movie, Secret of the Ooze. Unfortunately, no Vanilla Ice in this game, or fortunately, depending on your viewpoint. But it's interesting to see those 2 characters from this game.
Yeah, it's a really strange choice when everything else in the game it really is taken straight from the cartoon. It's a sort of quite interesting to see they made their way transition into the game. And I think they did. I think they were possibly shoehorned into one episode of the cartoon, if I remember correctly. But still, they were never really one of the most popular bad guys in the Turtles.
No, I mean there were no Bebop and Rocksteady. It had to be said, but it's good. It's a nice little inclusion.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course, it's always difficult when you have 2 bosses to contend at once, especially ones that are so powerful.
Yeah, one being fire and one being ice as well. It's quite an interesting idea.
That's one down.
Turn back into the little terrapin. It doesn't help that the electric force field's there as well, which you can get bashed into if you're not careful.
Yeah, but unfortunately it doesn't actually seem to affect the enemy, but it will hurt you a lot if you get hit into it.
Yeah. Typically.
You there?
Yeah, almost there now. Unfortunately, you don't get the turtle rap in this game either.
But the go ninja, go!
Yeah.
That shows up in Metal Gear Rising Revengeance for some reason. It's very, very worrying.
Wow. Oh, I haven't tried that yet. I'll have to. Maybe after I've heard that, maybe I'll have to try the game.
So here's an ingenious boss fight. You don't actually directly hit Shredder's kind of mech. You actually throw enemies into it, which is a good use of the mechanic actually. And it took me a while to actually figure this out.
Yeah, I remember the first time I played this, we were a bit lost to begin with. Didn't really know what to do, and then I think accidentally started throwing ninjas into the screen, and it worked. You know, a bit lucky.
It's very, very clever use of the system's capabilities. It's more than just a gimmick, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it's something we could have seen on one of the other systems of the time, really, just because of the different capabilities of the SNES.
So where's Shredder gone? Ah, he's gone through time. Takes us back to prehistoric times, and we're just going to fight Slash, the prehistoric turtle.
You start to see the creators of the cartoon maybe got a bit lackluster with some of their creations, because you got Metalhead the Metal Turtle, Slash the prehistoric turtle, you got Raza, was it Tokka, who was a snapper terrapin. I mean, they maybe could have tried out a few different ideas.
Well, you know, if you look at the toy line, there were quite a few random monsters that rarely found their way into the cartoons. I mean, there was a rabbit by the name of Saki or Jimbo, who was actually from a different comic entirely, and they just shoehorned him into the cartoons and the toys.
I think just to help his popularity in Japan, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I had that little figure. I can't remember why I had that, but it was interesting.
Yeah, there were some really random figures you could get, which I think I had a duck who was an aeroplane captain.
Ah, yes, I remember that one. And of course, there was the Rat King and the pizza monsters as well, which were like these Geiger-esque alien pizza monsters that were basically mutated pizza.
Yeah, you might have noticed at the beginning of the sewer surfing level there was a silhouette of one of those. Very close to the aliens, like you say.
They're yellow aliens.
Yeah, it's strange. I've always tried to work out what the cliff face in the background. What is that meant to be?
It's Shredder in a.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
stylized Shredder.
How did it end up there?
Yeah.
It's kind of Shredder by way of Gundam, I think.
Yeah, it does look rather robotic, but it's quite cool. nice little touch to put in there.
So then here we go on the next level. So we're out of the prehistoric era. Where will we go next? Some other random mode 7 there for you. Ah, it's the pirate level.
Trying to get fit in as many historical cliches as possible.
Yeah. I think we've got all our little gaming niches covered in this game somehow. So we're on a pirate ship fighting enemies.
And watching out for obstacles as well on the levels.
Yeah, like that little loose floorboard.
That's what I was waiting for. And you've got another variety of foot soldier there, throwing the little ninja knives. You get, as you go throughout it, you get different levels. Each have different types of foot soldiers. So there's some we still haven't encountered, which we'll meet a bit later on. You get so many varieties.
Certainly.
But you also get, I think in this, you get other enemies. I think you'll see a few in a moment on this level who we haven't encountered before.
I'm just going to move on to another little bonus area, which is random use of Mode 7. It's a nice little way to break up the gameplay.
Yeah, and putting it on the other plane as well, going toward away from the screen, makes it more, just a bit of variety. And as you see, we're sort of jumping backwards and forwards through time. We've gone into the future now.
Yeah. It's a shame, you know, that it was just this part was set in the future. It would have been nice to have a bit of scrolling, just dispatching enemies for points, and points being extra lives, which is always useful.
Yeah, it's very much just a shooting range, really, isn't it?
And of course, you got to kind of. It's almost like F-Zero. You have to kind of go through these curves.
Really F-Zero, like, yeah.
It does. Yes, pizza time indeed. So we've got some enemies on the helicopter jetpacks now. So there's a bit of variety here, as we said earlier.
Yeah, it's just interesting. You never saw. You just wouldn't have seen levels like this on any other system.
And of course, we get to fight Krang, not in his usual robot suit. He's in this kind of strange UFO thingy.
Yeah, I suppose it's just they were trying to figure out how you could actually have a boss battle against Krang, seeing as how gigantic he is in his robot suit. So I suppose this makes a bit more sense fighting him, but not entirely accurate to the cartoon. But you know, a bit of artistic license.
Yeah, he's very annoying because he teleports all around the place, which can make it a bit tricky to hit him.
And he has a variety of different weapons, such as the bubbles, which freeze you inside the bubble, and then there's the lasers as well, and he starts bouncing around at one point as well, trying to squash you.
Again, he's very animated. When you hit him, he kind of almost has a big cry.
Yeah, that's definitely the strong point of this game. Visually, it's striking.
Yeah.
You're not really going to get a huge challenge playing this game, but it's just fun going through and seeing all the different levels and just beating up hundreds of foot soldiers. Sometimes it can be fun not to have too much of a challenge.
Yeah, I mean it's a simple brawler. I mean you got a special attack, you got your drop kick, you got your basic punches, kicks, and your throw. But throughout most of the game you're kind of using two buttons. Maybe I think I'm trying to remember if there's a third button or if you have to press both buttons at the same time to get your special. But
I think it's mashing them both together.
Yeah, I mean it's very simplistic. It's fun. That's what's the important thing here. It hasn't quite got the depth of other games in the genre, but it is so much fun, especially in multiplayer.
Yeah, and probably much more suitable for the target age range than the first Turtles game on the NES was.
Certainly, it feels like you can go through the game even if you don't go through the game when you first go. You know that eventually you will be able to do it.
Yeah, you don't get the feeling of despair.
Yes. So we've left the future onto another time zone, and we're going to the Technodrome in present day, I believe, and we're going to fight Shredder.
So we have skipped a couple of levels. There are more for you to discover if you ever want to play this game for yourself.
Of course, we're just giving it a general gist, but here we have Super Shredder, who again was actually in the second Turtles film.
Yes.
Played by wrestler Kevin Nash.
Yeah, otherwise known as Diesel.
Yep. So, yeah, he's actually quite tough. Again, he's got that kind of attack where if he hits you with a particular gun, it will actually kill you in one shot. But his attacks are quite easy to avoid. He does telegraph them quite early.
Yeah, luckily the different ways he glows, you know what he's going to do. The green one is turning you back into a small turtle, the red one's fire, and the blue one's ice. So there's a combination of some of the different attacks that other bosses earlier in the game possessed, but sort of rolling them all into one. It's a bit of a harder package.
Well, while we vanquish Shredder, we shall have our little outro. Thank you for watching the Retrocast yet again. Keep watching us. You can see us on GodisaGeek.com as always. You can follow us on Twitter at the Retrocast. There you can see all manner of retro related goodness. And we shall see you next Tuesday, or whenever you choose to watch. Goodbye.
Bye.